I mean, there's no doubt about it that Iboga is definitely, we believe, probably one of the most, if not the most powerful psychedelic healers. Now, it doesn't always have to be intense, and it isn't always psychedelic, but really where that intensity for me exemplifies is in its ability to heal so many different things in one ceremony. For example, really taking us down into the root of who we are and helping us remove the filters that are in the way of seeing ourselves and our lives more clearly. The amount that can be removed or taken from the unconscious to the conscious in just one ceremony is nothing short of miraculous. And then the integration piece is very, very deep with this medicine. So, one retreat, which is 2 ceremonies, can really, really incur massive shifts in someone's life, more so than any other medicine we've seen. I mean, we've worked with a lot of other medicines personally. Now, it can definitely be intense under the effects of it. And I'm sure Anthony can speak to that in a minute. But I feel that reputation is more appropriate in how deep it can take you for how much you can receive on the other side of it. You want to talk about?
Yeah, in my experience, Iboga is the universe. Like, in one of my first journeys with Iboga, almost 11 years ago, I was taken to my version of the beginning of time. And then in the next breath, I was shown like the universe today with all the joy, the suffering, the pain, just everything. And so when I feel Iboga, when I connect to it, it's infinite wisdom. It's infinite expansion of consciousness. And it is wise. Some of the indigenous people in Gabon will say that the spirit of Iboga knows all the other plants. And in the beginning, when I first heard that, I was like, no. And then over time, as I developed a relationship with it, I absolutely believe that. How expansive, how infinite the wisdom is, how deep it goes within a person, right? It's the root of the tree. So it just seems like it's getting deeper and deeper into our roots. And as far as the intensity, I like to just connect to life as a whole. And I think that life as a whole, without ingesting any medicine, at times can be intense. If we resist the universe, if we resist what is, we resist the flow of the river, and we keep saying, no, 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 I don't want that to happen, then we feel the intensity of the universe. And then the moment that we take a deep breath, and we soften our bodies, then that intensity dissolves. And such as being on the medicine. If the medicine is showing somebody something that can be uncomfortable, but they're embracing it and being with it, then there's less intensity. If they're fighting with it and resisting it and struggling with it, then the intensity can increase. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we had a guest here last week that his reality got rearranged, and he was so in the flow with it. He was completely inviting of everything that was coming through. And the first ceremony was a lot about, hit all of his coping strategies and behavior patterns under a magnifying glass, like just so clear. And that can be really intense. But if you're like, oh my God, this is so healing, this is so incredible to see this part of myself so that I have a choice in how I engage with my life after this, because when we're blind and when we're numb, we don't know. But when we know, then we have the ability to consciously choose more often than not, right? Not always, of course, we go on autopilot, but he could have resisted that experience very, very easily. And he was just so grateful to the medicine for highlighting to him the areas of his life that weren't working. And so that is a perfect example of being in flow with what the medicine is showing versus, you know, completely resisting every piece of it, because he really would have suffered a lot. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
1,000%.
for sure. You know, one of the other things with Iboga is there's a lot of ancestral clearing and energy, and so who knows what we've come into the world with. I mean, thank you know, many blessings and a lot of gratitude for our ancestors to pave the way to get us here. But I would imagine that we carry some of that energy, and because Iboga is the root, and it has an ancestral way of healing. That could be intense as well, as where we're just moving energies that we're just unaware of. Um, as far as dosage, that's a really important one that I love to talk about because I'm always so dialed in with the person's energy field and their frequency, their behaviors. Are they anxious? Are they not anxious? Just really feeling their vibration, because this is not a one size fits all. You know, I know it's some maybe the Ibogaine clinics that do it by body weight, but not here. It's really about feel, and we see a little bit of medicine go a really long way. We're not hesitant or shy to lean into people if that's what they want. You know, it just all depends. Some people want to go really deep, and we've given people an initiation dose here. Not many, and that means that you just take as much medicine, keep taking it until your body says no mas. And we're not trained to perform initiation ceremony, but we've given people an initiation dose. But I would say on average, you know, 2 to 3 doses is probably the average. But yeah, the more medicine you take, the stronger it gets. And with Iboga, once you hit a plateau, if you take more, it just goes longer and longer and longer. Yeah, there's a correct. Like my first initiation was an all night
In
affair
Gabon.
in Gabon. My first initiation in Gabon was an all night affair from like 9 o'clock till 10, 11 in the morning when they closed the ceremony. But I was up for 3 days processing. I couldn't go to sleep. I felt okay. I wasn't.
But you weren't at resistance.
Yeah, I wasn't struggling. I would just, there was nights that I would just be sitting outside in the temple by myself and everybody else was sleeping. So, everybody's sensitivity is different, and I think for me in that experience, there was like a really deep healing of my central nervous system. And I just felt alive. I felt empowered. I felt aware, alert, and I felt really strong. And so it was a really beautiful experience for 3 full nights. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that's really
Yeah.